Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to this video. If you're new here, my name is Alise and today's video is going to be about the full moon in Cancer, but also this is part 2 of Mercury retrograde. I made a Mercury retrograde video and I named it part 1 because that video ended up shutting itself off. I actually had a Mercury retrograde moment. I have a new mic, and so hopefully the sound is better, but there is a bit of a learning curve with it because I find that if I'm using the mic on different things and then I'm doing a video and it loses charge, it's not supposed to lose charge if it's connected to my phone, but there's probably some reason it's not charging. So it's been a bit of a learning curve. I've tried to do this video so many times. And so last night I did a video, it was 30 minutes long, and then the mic didn't record it. So I'm back. I'm getting this video done. And so it is after the full moon, we know, but it's still worthy of talking about and pointing out some things. And maybe the timing is just right because I've just been continuously discovering things that I want to talk about uh, in regards to the full moon, as well as Mercury retrograde. So, as I said, this is Mercury retrograde part 2 and the full moon in Cancer, and we're going to talk about Chiron direct. So, if you were following me, and if you haven't already seen, I did this Mercury retrograde video. You'll want to go back to check it out if you haven't seen it. I'm just going to do a little bit of a wrap up of where we left off. Ultimately, the last thing I said on that video was, really considering your own personal story, like how you relate to life, really, how you relate to source, how you relate to life. That can be very different. We can all feel very, in a way, we're on our personal journey, right? We're very unique. We're designed to be unique. So we can have this internal reality going on, and then we recognize the external reality, the stories going on in the collective, and we don't relate, or we do, or we relate in a unique way. And ultimately, as we mature through life, we can take on conditionings in regards to how we relate to our own story, how we relate to the stories that we see in the collective. And that very much influences the way we experience them. It shapes those stories. So, this is about really deeply investigating our personal relationship by the definitions that we are subscribing to in the way that we're viewing our own story, the circumstances within our own lives, and the circumstances that we see, quote unquote, out there, right? So this Mercury retrograde, it's an awesome one because it is, retrograding the Sagittarius and Capricorn consciousness. When you understand how the psyche develops through the wheel of consciousness, you recognize that Jupiter, as it rules Sagittarius, is all about the way in which we create meaning in our life based on the definitions, based on the information, and then the definitions that we apply to the information, right? And then we structure our reality from the inside out, internally, and that's actually structured from the beliefs we decide are true for us. And so Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, is a yin sign. And so this is really about how we structure our reality internally. And then Saturn, as it rules Aquarius, is then this natural expression of how we've structured our consciousness internally in Capricorn from the belief systems we subscribe to, Sagittarius, and then we create our reality in the outside world. Yang, Aquarius, right? Pluto's going to be going into Aquarius very soon. So this Mercury retrograde is really helpful for that. And, Pluto going through Aquarius is going to expose how we've been structuring our internal reality and what is actually not built on solid ground, right? And so this Mercury retrograde is really helpful. All Mercury retrogrades are always going to be pulling consciousness inward so that we can really tune into the right brain thinking, where we actually can just know things, right? We can just know based on the information we've been getting through the linear left brain thinking as Mercury's been direct. Now, the full moon in Cancer happened December 26th. Interestingly, Chiron went direct just after the full moon in Aries. Aries is a cardinal yang sign, whereas the Cancer full moon's a cardinal yin sign. And so they're very related. They actually, because they're part of this cardinal grand cross in the sky in our own charts and our own psyche, this is really about how we derive emotional security based upon our own efforts, Mars, Aries, and based upon our own personal evolutionary momentum in our evolutionary purpose, as well as our own desires, what we desire, which is naturally connected to our evolutionary purpose. So, full moon in Cancer, 4 degrees, 58 minutes. This means the moon's opposing the sun from 4 degrees, 58 minutes in Cancer, right? And in this particular full moon chart, we also have the sun is trine Jupiter retrograde in Taurus, and the moon is sextile Jupiter retrograde in Taurus. And interestingly, Jupiter is stationing direct on December 31st in Taurus. And so this is really about how is my internal reality, how is my external reality reflecting what I really believe about myself, what I really believe about my own value, as well as my own values. Are they congruent? Is the way I'm structuring things congruent with what I believe about myself? And what am I believing about myself? I mean, this can also then, just bringing in that Chiron is turning direct right after the full moon is important there in regards to our own identity, and what we really believe about ourselves. And, remember that Mars is in Sagittarius, Jupiter's sign, and it's very, very close to Mercury retrograde. Mars is at 23, Mercury's at 25. It's going to keep retrograding back beyond into the 22nd degree and then go direct on January 2nd. So this pulls in, what are we instinctually acting upon? What beliefs are we acting upon? Whatever we're instinctually acting upon, we can take note and go, is that really, am I acting on behalf of my own empowerment, or am I acting on behalf of, ideas and beliefs that really are not in alignment with my natural core essence, that just aren't really for me? And we want to be sure that we're taking note of that so that we can redirect, we can pivot into new actions and, take care of ourselves, because it's up to us to take care of ourselves. It's up to us to really utilize our own life force energy for what it is that we believe about ourselves, what we believe about our life, what we believe about our purpose, our personal purpose, not necessarily the purpose of the collective. And that brings me to Mars is making waxing last quarter square to Neptune. So this is assisting us to look at what am I instinctually acting on? Is this the collective story, the collective unconscious beliefs that are really not personal for me? Maybe they're helpful for other people, but they're really not mine. Maybe they have to do with, relationships I've been involved in, my family lineage, my culture, my society that I've been submerged in, the collective that I've been submerged in. And actually, these particular ideas are maybe just not mine. Maybe there's something that I need to weed out so that I can be really, really congruent with my personal belief system, my personal values system, and my own value. Remembering that we are valuing ourselves when we're trusting our own truth and trusting ourselves. When we trust our own truth, we may not understand how it fits, but it does. It's naturally designed to fit. We're here to be authentic. That's what Pluto and Capricorn has been really dredging up, is all these places that we're not being authentic, thinking that we need to believe something that isn't ours to believe, or ideas that aren't ours, So this is about really looking at those foundations so that we're setting ourselves up to be our unique individual contribution of light as Pluto moves into Aquarius. Because Pluto will expose where we're not being our unique selves, where we're not really valuing ourselves, we're not trusting ourselves, and we're not being authentic. We're not being integral, to our own truth and our own unique light. So this Mars in a last quarter square to Neptune can assist us to look at, are we acting on ideas and beliefs that we've just kind of osmosed, or are we really acting on what we're really passionate about, And this is important because, like I said, Mars rules Aries, Chiron's going direct in Aries. So it's very important to understand that emotional security can only be derived from ourselves, from trusting ourselves, not being dependent on other people to act on our behalf or to be a certain way. And so it is important that we're deriving this emotional security from within, not from the outside world. We want to be really as I want to say self-made. I don't know if that's the exact best words, but in some ways, I think you probably get the gist of that point, is that we are the ones that are creating our lives. We're not depending on other people to do things for us to create the emotional security we want, whether that's financial, whether that's in relationship or career or friendships. We want self-acceptance first, not getting that from the outside world, not deriving all of our wealth just from others other than ourselves, right? It doesn't mean that we, aren't going to be in relationships and aren't going to be supportive and supported in relationships. But there is this line whenever we have the nodes in Aries and Libra, and we got, Pluto in Capricorn, Sun in Capricorn, Moon in Cancer. This is, all about deriving our inner security from the inside out, not from the outside in, right? Because when it's derived from the inside out, there's only going to be this evolutionary momentum. But if it's derived from the outside in, all of our security is dependent on what other people do, what the decisions that the outside world is making, right? But we want this emotional security to be derived from within. based on our own beliefs, our own ideas, our own thoughts, our own way of looking at things. This is what the world needs. It needs us, our authentic self, not the self that we think that other people or society wants from us, even if they do, right? Ultimately, what is the best for all beings is our own personal congruence with our personal design, because we're designed to actually bring specific light into the world. But that light is determined based upon our personal truth and our congruence with our personal truth and creating our reality from the inside out. So Chiron direct right after the full moon's really, really particularly poignant, having us make sure we're instinctually acting upon our own ideas, our own thoughts, perceptions, angles of looking, and beliefs. And remembering, there are going to be ideas, thoughts, and beliefs that other people share with us that we're going to relate to, and that's going to actually be positive. So I just want to make sure that that's clarified. It's we do assist each other. We learn from each other, but in order to learn, we do have to be authentic and true to ourselves. So I hope this has been helpful. If it is, let me know. I'm really excited to finally get this video done. I hope the sound is good. And anyways, thank you so much for joining me. If you find this helpful, please do feel free to share the video and like the video. It always helps the algorithms, which I really appreciate. It's always fun having more listeners. And so if you're listening for the first time, thanks so much for joining. It's always fun to see that people are hearing the information, because I love giving the information. So anyways, let me know if you have any insights and questions. I'm always happy to engage as well. So I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you on the next video.